Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online. My name is Umbagalo, and with me once again is...
Megalomaniac. Hello, Internet.
Good day. Last time we did a...
Surprise Star Wars crossover.
Yeah, that was an interesting Foundry mission. This time, we are going to do a...
Death Star Trench Run.
Yeah, actually, conveniently, we're going to be doing a new queue. Well, not really a new queue, but...
No, we've done this before, but they changed it a little.
That's right. A while ago, Cryptic removed the breach from the game, and just this week, they've returned it alongside a new event, which is just like all the other queue events. Complete it over 14 days. And get a reward box. This time, the prize for doing it the 14 times is an Admiralty ship. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's a Voth
science one.
It is definitely a Voth Admiralty ship.
Yeah,
I just can't remember what type it is. I'll look at it in just a moment.
I think it was like kind of sciencey, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. So what Cryptic did is they rebuilt the breach to be more straightforward, as you can see from looking at the briefing.
There are arrows saying, "Hey, go this way."
Yeah, in fact,
if you try to fly outside these arrows, you hit a wall.
Yeah, there is only one way to go through. The mission itself is still basically the same. It's still fly through the outside, destroying hardpoints and shield generators, and then once you get 100%, you then burst through the outer hull to fly around inside. Basically, the mission is the same. They just refined some of the areas to make it more, just more straightforward.
It's like attacking Starkiller Base instead of doing a Death Star trench run.
Yeah.
By the way, spoilers for episode 7, if you haven't seen it by now for some reason 3 months later. Comes out on DVD in April. At that point, I'm just going to be like, nope, sorry, no more spoiler warnings. You've had your chance.
One thing that I think is very fascinating about the update is if you look here at the mission objectives, one of the optionals is to complete the queue within 40 minutes. Even when...
This is basically going to take us 20.
Even when this mission was new, I don't think it took me 40 minutes to clear. That's gotta be a typo of some kind. That said, 20 minutes is still fairly normal.
Yeah, like, I did it with a not very well optimized party yesterday, and I don't even think we took 20 minutes. That was with, like, several deaths across the event.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed the breach. Like, I've always felt that its design was absolutely fascinating.
Death Star Trench Run.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Like, you're doing the Death Star Trench Run with capital ships. And that's pretty amazing.
I mean, mine's basically a gunboat. But...
Sure. But the fact still remains is that, like, you're doing this with full-scale ships.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, conceptually, I always found that to be great. I will say, though, like, having it be, doing this one run pattern through, like, it may be...
I kind of wish it was a randomized version where you could sometimes go left or right first.
Like you lose a lot. Like there's a lot of this map that you now no longer can see at all because of the way they've changed it, and that's kind of a shame. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like it's great because it means that it's no longer a matter of like, oh yeah, we decide to send. One person decided to go this way, and one person decided to go that way, and now suddenly all the integrity field nodes are like super hard because you decide to take it by yourself. So it makes the outer portion of the assault be like faster as a result.
Yeah. Still not particularly well optimized for cannons versus beams, as the guy in front of me is just beam firing at will and kind of
hitting everything. Yeah, like you don't even need to beam fire at will. Like if there's a bunch of the hard points in relatively close proximity, once you target one and start firing, the engine will automatically target all of them, and you'll just blast them all.
And then if you go far enough, though, actually I think this is the first time I've done it, and get down here.
Yeah, I haven't had to go this far.
You fly around like the underside of it on the right.
Yeah,
I will say.
This direction is actually usually the way I would tend to go when I was playing this normally. I'd usually take this route on the bottom. There we go.
We're now at the breach site.
Which again gets like really easily handled by beam fired well.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have switched to one of the beam using ships for this, but
that's okay.
Lazy. Also, this gives me lots of Starship Mastery, and I just jumped into the fleet version of this thing.
Yeah, I'm almost finished capping off mastery on this T6 flagship, so I'll probably be switching to another ship for next time.
Before, did you have to close the hangar doors, or is that a new mechanic?
No, you had to. You didn't. I don't think you had to, but it was. You did. No, actually, no. You did have to close the hangar doors because otherwise there'd be infinite reinforcements.
Infinite respawning ships. Okay.
Yeah. And rescuing the captured ships is also still a mechanic from before.
Yeah, once you're inside, basically the only new thing is now there's arrows saying, hey, go this way.
Yeah. In fact, I don't think they really changed anything about once you get inside. The outside is where...
I think the subcore is a little different.
Okay.
I'll mention it when I get there, or when we get there, but again, I could be wrong on that. So, I do find it interesting this is their event, because this is actually a bit longer compared to some of the other event missions they make you ran. Like,
yeah.
The only event can be done in, 5 minutes?
Yeah, a lot of the other... a lot of those other ones were pretty fast.
Mirror Universe was, I think that was, locked to about...
Well, actually,
10?
Yeah, those ones were, about 10 to 15.
Yeah. So maybe the optional time limit is kind of influencing my thinking on that. We get everything... Oh, we have to lower the force field. Duh. So as you can see, there are now arrows going.
Yeah, pointing you hey, here's where you need to go. They didn't change any of those objectives. It's just they're now making it a little bit clearer where you need to go.
Yeah, because it could be... I could see where it'd be easy to get turned around.
Yeah. Especially since the mini-map is not necessarily that great.
Mm-hmm. So, hey... 11.5 stuff that I don't think we mentioned last time. Romulan Admiralty campaign.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that just came... the news on that one just came out this week, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it was last week.
It was last week, but we didn't get to report last week because we were busy on alternating days.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's going to be a new Admiralty campaign. This one is going to be for the Romulans. That's pretty good.
If they remembered Romulans are a faction, it's cute.
Yeah. I think that was really all that they said. Like they had
everything else is kind of this stuff.
Yeah, they had a Q&A on some of the stuff for the skill the skill tree changes, but that was really just talking more about what they had already said. I'm still definitely really looking forward to those changes.
Yeah, I am too, just because this... Whoops, that's the other thing I forgot to do well. Altering the ship. I forgot to reset my power levels.
Whoops.
Yeah, I know, whoops. But yeah, a lot of it is just kind of little specific. How does this work? How does this work?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that just because the skill system is one of the most kind of like needlessly complex things left in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And they finally got a pretty good structure for how to handle that with the specialty system.
Yeah, so even if it basically is, hey, Diablo 2 talent tree.
Yeah.
Not
Though
that
I
I'm
don't
like
know
saying
if I
that's a bad
mentioned
thing at all, but
I don't know if I mentioned, like, one of the things that they had said with the changes to the skill system that I thought was actually kind of fascinating. No, I probably didn't talk about it because they revealed this in that Q&A. Is so right now there's an ability called Abandon Ship, which is if you are under a certain amount of HP,
you can blow yourself up.
You can blow yourself up, and it basically is like a pointless ability. Like there's really no reason to use it. Like at best,
unless you want to be stupid and hilarious.
Yeah, at best, its use is to grief people in PvP. So what Cryptic is doing is they are going to remove that ability from the game, and they're going to replace it with a toggle ability that will basically turn on tank mode. So when you activate it, you will have added threat generation and maybe some added damage reduction, because they're also removing the threat skills from the skill tree, because it's a mechanic which has always been kind of not well implemented in the game. So yeah,
I admit I've never tried to make a dedicated tank in this game, but it always seemed like it'd be a little wonky.
Yeah, I've alternated between making one and not with my cruiser builds, but like the tanking as a concept in this game is still it's still kind of janky. It's really not that great.
Now, I could be remembering this wrong, but I remember before, if you open the wrong one, didn't the subcore, like, hurt you really badly or something like that?
Yeah, it had, like, an AoE debilitate. And
yeah, this one just seems like...
I think it still does.
Open it, maybe, but so far what I've seen, you open it and it's either there or not there.
That's the first one, it seems like.
Okay. Maybe I just got lucky and never had to, never dealt with the wrong one.
What I think it is that the first... Okay, no, here it is. Here's a question mark sub-power core.
Oh, okay.
Shoot it. And it... Yeah, overcharge countermeasure. So it gives you that same debuff as if you shot the...
okay, so I just happened to get lucky and not mess it up before.
Yeah, which is what happened in the original version of the Breach as well. It's just it seemed that that mechanic right now seems a little wonky, because sometimes you'll open up the wrong relay and the fake sub-power cores won't be there at all.
Yeah, I've had that happen once or twice too, so maybe that's just what I was thinking of. Anyway, other stuff related to Star Trek that's interesting, related to that show that's coming on in like a year or so. They announced that both Nicholas Meyer, the director of Wrath of Khan, which is a movie that you have not yet watched.
That's right, I have not yet watched it.
As well as Gene Roddenberry's son, are both going to be involved in the new series.
Really?
So that's interesting news.
That is
the Nicholas Meyer one is promising news for me because he also directed Undiscovered Country, and I believe he produced 3 and 4. So basically, the guy behind some of the best Star Trek works that have been made so far is on the show. So that is, to me, very promising.
Yeah.
And then Gene Roddenberry's son is just kind of a neat thing. I actually don't know. I don't know what Gene Roddenberry's son's writing credits or production credits are, if anything.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
I know, the only thing I know he's done is there was a few years ago, there was a documentary about, I forget if it was about Star Trek specifically or just about Gene Roddenberry in general. But I know he was on that. Or he had hosted that.
Definitely looks like they're trying to get a star-studded roster to make this work.
Yeah. Well, because it is a big thing, Star Trek being back on television.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's where the arrows really kick in.
Yeah, this has been one of the aspects of the game where it definitely has felt that people didn't necessarily know what they needed to do.
Yeah, this is the part where the arrows are really helpful.
I mean, I know that I picked it up pretty quickly before, but having some arrows being like, hey, here's where the exit is, that's pretty good.
Like, that aside, even you were in a big, largely similar chamber with a thing that spins around.
Yeah.
So, even if you know where to go, finding out where you are in relation to that can be tricky sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Hurry up.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. Let's blow this thing and go home. And I forget the line from Independence Day, but that too.
Yeah, and that's basically as well as the assault could go.
Mm-hmm. I got 187 Terran marks, so that's pretty darn good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
haul.
all the events, you get to choose your marks, but I chose Terran because that's what I'm kind of low on.
Mm-hmm.
Got about 500 dilithium, so that's not bad either.
Alright. So, for me, my daily reset time hasn't actually rolled over yet. I think it'll actually be in, maybe an hour. But if I hadn't, you would have gotten an extra reward from it, which just goes into the event to get yourself the normal event rewards. You get your dilithium, your
crafting
marks,
mats,
your marks, and then a VSS Tenius. So another hero ship.
Yeah, and the Romulan campaign will of course have another.
Yeah, as
well.
its capstone prize. So that's I like what they've done to.
Yeah, the little changes are helpful.
Yeah,
it makes that first section a lot speedier.
Yeah, it's just a lot smoother as well because you are progressing through it in force. You're not just all wandering by yourself.
Yeah, it does have a sense of actual trench runniness / Starkiller base attackiness.
Yeah, especially since you are all generally as a group, or at least there's a larger grouping of people. You
more
are
concentrated.
You're broadly just flying over the nodes, destroying them, and then carrying right on. It's unlike the way the breach was before, where you could actually spend quite a lot of time just sort of hovering around those nodes, popping in and out, destroying the turrets before you can destroy the node itself.
And the turrets did a lot of damage.
Turrets,
if you were on your own, you would die
Yeah, the turrets were a little overtuned. Mm-hmm. But again, if you traveled as a group, the turrets were less of a problem.
Yeah, but why would you want to use teamwork in a massive multiplayer game?
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I enjoy the new Breach. Like, I always enjoyed the Breach itself. Like, I felt that it was a great mission. But these changes definitely make it much more streamlined. It's easier to complete.
Yeah.
I still, though, wish that Cryptic were to add just a random queue option.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing.
Like, they're one of the biggest problems they have with queues in general. It's just that they have too many of them.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I want to say Old Republic did that later. Like, I haven't played that in a while, but I remember them doing a thing where it's like, here's, a daily quest to go just do a queue, and just whatever, whatever pops up.
So STO did actually used to have a daily quest like that before, where like every day you would randomly select one of the various queues, and this was like way ago. So like
before free to play.
Yeah. Was it? It might have still been during free to like it may have been after. But even if it wasn't, this was like back when they only really had like maybe 10 queues in total, which was still like with the way they were split over ground and space, like that's still a lot of queues, and that made it hard to run the one you wanted. So they would have like random queues every day. You do this one, you get whatever the end game currency was at the time. And it encouraged people to do, less popular queues.
Yeah.
But that can only work for so long, and like especially on top of that, like you still, it can only work for so long, and it still doesn't really fix the problem of there are some queues which just no one has any desire to do anyway. And like, there's only so much you can do by taking those queues and reworking them to be more streamlined, to be more completable. Like, even if they were to take, let's just say, the Dig, which is one of the worst ground queues in the game. Even if they were to take
were we ever able to actually get a group for that one?
No, we haven't. But like, even if
we can't show it to you because nobody likes playing it.
That's right. Even if we were to find a group to do. Let's just see if I can pull it up. Here's the Big Dig. Literally no one is in the queue. It is real bad.
20-man queue.
It is real bad. Even if they were to do something to like make that one more enjoyable, the fact still remains, like, look at just how long this queue searcher is. And just look at how few people are doing queues in general. Like there's only
it's funny because it's so big that they removed the breach and I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Until they're like, "Hey, we're bringing the breach back." I'm like, they got rid of it. What?
Yeah. Like, Cryptic needs to add a random queue option.
Yeah.
They need to have the ability to just say, like, choose this, like have like choose selected queues as a separate option, but the primary one is I want a random space and a random ground queue. Yeah. You pick this option once a day. You get pick like a, let's just say like a 100 mark box of like, you pick whatever faction you want these marks of, something like that. Or like bonus 1,000 dilithium, something, like whatever, something to make it worthwhile.
One thing that might help just on the because I can actually try this. One thing that might help just on the actual presentation, and that's still a lot, was like actually separating out the space and ground and then the difficulties from each other as different lists. But even doing that, I'm still looking at like 20. Like normal space queues.
Yeah, for sure. But like, honestly, they need to do something. Like, they really should have it. Just like the first easiest thing is going to be give me a random.
Sorry, 21 space queues, normal difficulty.
Jeez. Yeah, like just the first thing you should be prompted when you're saying I want to play a queued mission. Be like, okay, here's random normal space, random advanced space, random elite space, random normal ground, random advanced ground, random elite ground. Mm-hmm. Each one has a base bonus on it for doing that queue. Just be like, you do the queue, you get an extra 500 dilithium. You do the first time you do it in a day, you get like an extra 1,000 dilithium and an extra 100 marks of your choice, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then just because the reason for that is you want to have an active queue of people who just say, give me whatever, so that they can be used as filler for the people who say, like, I only want to do the breach because I need my Voth marks. You know, no one says that because they could just do the battlegrounds, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Replace Voth marks in the breach with, say, Borg disconnected and A472 counter command marks.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, Delta marks.
Delta marks, yeah. Or like,
actually, I guess both.
Or like, I really want to do, I really want to do Undyne Assault because that mission is actually kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And like, no one does Undyne Assault because they just don't have the same humor as I do. You know, stuff like that. But like, it's also a matter of like, once a faction rotates out of being the primary focus, basically once a new reputation faction comes in, like, popularity of the old missions just plummets because like at that point no one needs those marks anymore.
Pretty much.
Except people who weren't there at the time or who fell behind.
Well, there's also the crafting material bit when you get into advanced difficulty stuff. But
yeah, that's one thing. But
that's
because
a smaller subset of the population.
But also because there are so few of those advanced crafting materials, like those materials are found on multiple queues. Mm-hmm. So it's like all Undyne queues have this thing, or like these subsets have them. So as a result, like that still means like, okay, I need Trillium K. Well, it's been shown that the best source of Trillium K is this one queue, so people who will only run it. But like people who don't need, like, Trillium K may not be something that comes up all that often, so no one runs it.
Well, I think they might want to, like, I don't know, just completely remove, but at least cycle in and out some of the other queues that, aren't as well played, I guess.
Yeah.
Or save them for events like this. It's like, with this event, even if you didn't really like playing the Breach before, here is 2 weeks of a reason to play the Breach.
Yeah, they really need to do something about that, because it's just getting like a little frustrating.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, sorry, 23 queues, because I wasn't counting the Breach and Counterpoint, which are at the top and not in the list.
Oh.
So you have 23 normal space queues.
Yeah.
Including, like, Starbase 24 and Starbase, or a Fleet Starbase event. Or what's the actual Starbase Fleet Defense?
Yeah. So it's just, it's something that they need to do more about, and I hope that they are seriously thinking about it. It'd be nice if that was like a season 11.5 thing, but kind of at this point, I'm thinking like probably not. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't for like an expansion.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending on how much of a priority it is with them.
Yeah. Well, in any case, that'll be it for us for this week. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everyone.